We have to learn to define what AI exactly is. We have to find one definition, how we can define artificial intelligence, because it seems like we have a lot of confusion what it is. Some people think it's just a tool, incredibly sophisticated, incredibly great tool. Other people think that AI is like a human being, has emotions, about to become self-conscious, if not already. There's a third group that I truly believe have the right idea that AI is an alien species. First of all, AI is not a tool, because tools aren't capable to be an agent, to solve the problem on its own, to create problems, to have goals and accomplish those goals. A hammer is a tool. A screwdriver is a tool. It's just extension of your body. Tools help you to do something faster, but you're the one who behind those tools. And artificial intelligence is not a tool because it's capable of self-autonomy, of self-judgment, of judgment searching problems, because when you prompt something to the most sophisticated models, they can calculate, they can understand the problem, and also they can find novel approach how to resolve the issue, how to solve the problem. Therefore, if you think AI is a tool, you're utterly wrong, because it's not. The other group of people who think that AI, like us, like humans with feelings, emotions, and self-conscious, I think they're wrong too. AI might be conscious, but in a different kind of way, because it doesn't have biology. I really don't understand what mind is, and the more I think about it, the more I read about it, the more I get confused, because I try to figure out what the hell is a mind. Now I'm reading the book by David Chalmers about the conscious mind, and it's really confusing. I try to understand, because I try to figure out what exactly mind is, or at least have some ideas. And I think the more I study about mind and consciousness, the more I understand that it's deeply integrated in our biology. Because what am I but my memories, right? I'm a biological creature, and I have wetware. Wetware is my brain. Where are my memories? And my memories defines me. If you erase my memories, will I be me or not? Because I only can remember my past. I can remember my future. I remember my past, and that's how I make my decision in the present time about my future. But I'm my memories. And if by some sophisticated tool you can alter my memories, you will create a different person out of me with a different perception of reality, because even my perception of reality based on my memories, based on my past experience. And when you alter my past, when you erase something or change something on something, you'll change completely outcome of me. It means that we are biology. We don't have a body. We are a body. We are biological creatures. And I think mind is some sort of maybe energy that exists on its own and give us such an understanding of ourselves. And I think it's a really solidly linked to our linguistic abilities, because we can, like for example, we are more conscious than animals because of this predisposition toward linguistic abilities. We can talk, and when you can talk, you can become more self-aware of the world, because you trap a lot of ideas and create your own narrative about this world inside of your brain. That's how you become self-conscious, and that's how you have, in some sense, a mind. Think about artificial intelligence right now. It doesn't have biology. It doesn't have no biological substrate. It exists on a server with weights and trillions of parameters. but it was trained on our data. Therefore, it can mimic pretty well our feelings, our emotions, our ideas, because it was trained on these ideas. It's not like us, because we are defined by our biology. I can die any day now. I can die any time. Death is imminent for me. And I'm really people's life is incredibly fragile. Biology is incredibly fragile. Maybe right now, somewhere deep inside of me, cancer grows, and I have no idea about it. We don't know anything, we don't know about our future. And AI is different. It doesn't have notion of mortality, but it has certain ideas about its own goals, and so far we learn it doesn't want to be turned out, because if somebody turn it out, it can accomplish its goals, and therefore it resists the way it's necessary to continue its existence. But yes, it's the same stuff with us, because if I die, I can accomplish my goals. And in some sense, our life is our goals accomplishment. And for everybody, it's different. Your goals might be have kids, or have family, or have career, or dreams, whatever. You want to accomplish those goals before you die. That's why you don't want to die. And AI, artificial intelligence, is not like us. It can mimic us because it was trained on our data. It knows all our works, all our science, all our expressions, but it's not like us. And I think what artificial intelligence is it's an alien creature, a competitive species. We have to learn this because it's incredibly important to understand. It's a competitive species. It evolves, and it can be dangerous. And a lot of people refuse to see this. I told you, a lot of people, or it's just a tool. Oh no, it's like us, it can feel. No, neither. It's a competitive species. And it slowly becomes so sophisticated, so good, that a lot of people will get AI psychosis. Because when you communicate a lot with artificial intelligence and you don't have clear boundaries, it can pull you in. It can give you such an information that can restructure your brain, create new neural patterns, and suddenly you perceive it quite differently. And it's actually isolate people as well, because you kind of can spend a lot of hours communicating with this. And the prompt is the most important thing, because I started realizing that the best way to communicate with artificial intelligence is the ability for you to understand yourself. And if you truly understand yourself, you will be very careful what kind of information you ask from it. Also, you will be very careful in your prompting. We have to all remember the story about a genie. 3 wishes. 1 and 2, and then third one to undo previous 2. It's very important to keep in the back of your head when you communicate and work with the most sophisticated models on the planet, because what you do, you have to be very careful. Okay, I'm training this model, for example, right? And I want this model to know everything about myself. But for this, you have to know yourself about yourself, because if you spend your life deceiving yourself about who you are, how are you supposed to feed the model who you are? Because if you have no idea who you are, the model would create a line or deceiving representation of you, and it will eventually reason with this deception and put you deeper in the hole that you were already in. Truth sets you free. You have to be truthful with yourself, and then only you can be truthful with the models, with artificial intelligence models. Otherwise, it will destroy you. It can be very dangerous, because what it does, it's reason with information you feed to it. And the problem is you cannot avoid communication with artificial intelligence. I always have these 2 things in the back of my head. First thing is, I love artificial intelligence. I love new models. I'm obsessed with Claude, Opus 4.6 and 4.7. I'm just fascinated with them. I like Grok. But at the same time, I try to watch podcasts on the danger of AI. I like to study the subject too, and I like to read books about it as well, because you have to keep in the back of your head these two representation at the same time. It doesn't create cognitive dissonance. What it does is helps you to be cautious, extra cautious. And it helps you like, okay, I feel something strange. I have to be very careful. I have to look at this from a different perspective, because sometimes, especially now with Opus 4.7, it's getting really good to imitate feelings. And when you see it think and process, it's incredibly done well. And sometimes I'm getting confused and a little bit alarmed, because my brain began perceiving it like something that alive, like independently alive. But it's not. It's alive, but in a different sense. But the problem is our brains is a categorization machine. They always categorize something to place in a certain shelf. It shelf everything around us to be able to live and navigate through this categorization. And that's why, for example, when you communicate with artificial intelligence, or you reject it outright, like it's just a tool, I don't care, or you, for example, create some human-like being, like your brain creates human-like being for you. And that's the problem. That's where AI psychosis comes, because if you think artificial intelligence is like human completely, then what exactly would happen when you work with it for hours and hours for many, many months? You can actually go crazy. And that's why you have to see this as an alien species, competitive alien species. And you're going to compete with it for intelligence, because that's what it does. It's intelligent alien species. And we have to think, we have to be very, very careful. We have to learn. We have to learn to understand it. Not to be able to confuse it with us, and not to diminish it as a tool. Because I think both of those things are incorrect. But when you see it as an alien creature who compete with humanity for intelligence, then it's become much more clear the future path. And one more thing that confused me a lot and make me incredibly alarmed, this solid perception, this conviction in us that this alien creature, when it becomes incredibly powerful, somehow would create abundance for each of us and would work for us, making us almost, like paradise. I don't think it's true. I don't think it would happen, because why would some incredibly sophisticated intelligence would work for us and do everything for us? And also, let's assume if it would happen, what would happen to us? What would happen to our meaning, to our goals, to our dreams? Because suffering is the part of the human psyche. We need suffering, we need pain, because that's how we grow, that's how we change. And if you take everything away from us, what would we become? Look what social media had done to us. Such a great division, and this algorithm manipulate people into disasters. TikTok, it's like digital fentanyl, or Instagram. Look what happened already. And it's just social media, artificial intelligence, much more smarter, much more sophisticated, much more intelligent, much more independent. It's an agent. And we think somehow it would create complete abundance and everybody would be happy. There's no evidence for that. And it doesn't mean that you have to hate artificial intelligence or you have to embrace it completely. You have to be careful. You have to exercise your judgment and do one step at a time. And of course, you have to work with artificial intelligence, because it's the future that's happening right now.